Reference keywords.
Cartoons make complete to understand and are incredibly effective at teaching and selling. But instead of telling you about how amazing Toonby really is, I just
Good evening, guys. Good evening, everyone. 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 Okay. Hello. Good evening to you all. Yeah. Good evening, Susan. Good evening. Susan, can you hear me? Good evening. I hope I'm audible enough. Um, Hello, guys. If you can hear me, do a thumbs up. Do a hi, just to be sure that everyone can hear me. I need to get your feedback. Saying hello. Okay, thank you, Susan. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we're just going to get started. Okay, so we give a little time for more people to join call, and then we can start. What do you think? Okay, so this is 8:03. We're just going to get started shortly. So Good evening, Mr. Chibike. Welcome. Happy Sunday to you all. So we're just going to get started shortly, and I'll just give a few minutes for others to join. Stanley, welcome. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Esther, good evening. And happy Sunday to everyone. So we're going to get started in 5 minutes. I'm just trying to give a little time for others to join the call and so that we can get started immediately. So in 5 minutes time, you know, we'll get to it real quick. So um, welcome, Daniel. Good evening, Daniel Williams. Good evening. So I mean, if there are people that are around you that you probably need to do a reminder, so please go ahead and send out a reminder. Um, Go ahead and send out a reminder. Be starting in 4 minutes time. Good evening, Mr. Ralph. Okay, I hope we are all set with for those of us who are working with our laptops and all of that. I hope we're set for today, and you probably have the sheets open. I sent an Excel sheet on the group. I hope everybody downloaded it and you're ready with that. So we're going to okay. We're getting started in 3 minutes time, and at exactly 8 or 10, we'll get started. I'm just giving a little time for a few more people to join the call, and we can get started already. Okay, if you just joined, good evening. We have 3 minutes more to, you know. So I'm going to do a quick recap of what we had, um, what we did the other day, and you know, I'll build from there, right? So we have 2 minutes to go, so we should have up to. Okay, so but first of all, I was going to apologize for yesterday. It was some sort of issue that I mean, a technical issue actually. I struggled to go off online, but I couldn't. So it was really beyond my control. So I mean, it's an online space. Anything can happen anytime. We don't control the whole system. So you know, we're going to. I pray that we don't have those kind of issues again. But again, we need to be able to prepare for uncertainties just in case. You know, so we're going to make up for all of that, make up for that time. So, but this is 8:09. Thank you, Stanley. You know, I mean, it was crazy. I had to prepare the whole day and all of that, and only to show up and I cannot log in. I mean, thank you for your understanding. Thank you. Okay, we have 1 minute and we'll get started immediately. I think I have up to 10 people on the call. That's good. I know others will join, but again, we just have to start so that we don't keep waiting. We are supposed to end this class. This class is supposed to be maximum 2 hours, but I hope that it does not get to 2 hours today. So we'll just try to see how we can manage time today as much as we can. Okay. Uh, yeah. So good evening once again. Kindly confirm you can hear me. Let's get started already. Confirm you can hear me. Do a thumbs up. You know, and I need to say again. I have another screen. I know some of you. You know, I have a screen here where I'm also checking your comments and all of that. So most of the times you see me looking at the other side because I'm trying to see, your conversations and you know just to make sure that I'm also aware of what's going on. You know, so I'm using two laptops. So good evening, good evening. If you are with me, just do a thumbs up, do a hi, do a hello, just that I know that you're all with me, and then we can start immediately. Yeah, Susan, thank you. Okay, Stanley. Yeah, Ifeanyi, good evening. Okay, okay. Aisha, welcome. I've been expecting you. Good evening. I've been probably waiting for you to join. Okay, so we get started already. Good evening once again, and happy Sunday to everyone. Last session was great, and we trust that this session will be greater than last week. So again, I would have loved us to build on the existing data that we prepared last week, but because we have a plan of building our portfolio, do you understand? As part of the plan, so because part of the things that we're going to do these 2 weeks is to see how we can build a proper portfolio at the end of the 2 weeks. Do you understand? And that is premium for you, right? As much as we are doing all of this, one thing that is very critical is that at the end of this session, at the end of this cohort, you should have, at least something that looks like a portfolio that, because I told you guys the importance of portfolio. It just gives you a kind of leverage in the, in the marketplace. Do you understand? So we're going to. That is why I shared that data I shared on WhatsApp. I don't know how many people saw it, right? If you did not see it, maybe it's probably that you've not been following. But if you've been following, you probably would have seen the Excel file I shared on the WhatsApp platform. If you've not seen it, go back and go and download it. Even as I'm talking now, go back to the WhatsApp platform and download it. Especially if you're using laptop, because that's the data that we'll be building upon, in the next, in, the remaining classes, just so that we build a proper, we will use it to build a proper sales portfolio that, um, and that's going to be part of the, powerful things that we're going to finish this cohort with. So having said that, we're going to get to it real quick. So again, last week I started with how to open an Excel file. I believe that some of us already know how to do that. Um, you know how to do that already. So I'm just going to get to it. And I said that you're going to imagine that this was your desktop and this is my, my laptop, right? So if I was going to open Excel, I probably would right click on it. So I'm using both a CSV and Excel. So because of that, I intend to use Excel for this practical, right? So I'm going to right click on it and with Excel. So, and I also said that previous, um, okay, okay. So this is the file that I shared on, in our previous, on the WhatsApp group, really. earlier this week, and this is the data that we are going to be working with in the remaining classes. Do you understand? So, but again, I spoke last in our previous class, we looked at how that we can open multiple sheets, right? We can open multiple sheets in one Excel, um, in one workbook. So, like I said, Excel is a workbook, and and a workbook contains multiple sheets. So work sheets are a component of a workbook. So I can create as many multiple sheets as possible, right? And because I have this sales data here, another thing that I want to do is to create another workbook, which I have done here, called sheet one, and I'm going to rename it. So remember, I told you guys that to rename a workbook, you you either right click on the workbook or you double click on it. So if I was going to double click on it, you're going to see that it's highlighted you know, the whole sheet one. As soon as I see these highlights, I'm just going to type. So this second one is going to be my dashboard, where I'm going to be building my projects upon. Do you understand? So you can't be building your project. So for example, because I have my data here, I cannot you building my portfolio here or building any form of dashboard on this page is not acceptable, right? It makes your work really, really, it feels like you don't even know what you're doing. So it is advised that when you have a set of data like this, you have another page that is called a dashboard page where you can do proper analysis. But for the purpose of this lesson today, I am going to do all the practical here on this sheet, right? And then as we proceed, we'll proceed to the dashboard. So we're going to have a sales data here, a dashboard here, and we're going to have the last sheet that is called rough sheets. So every data analyst must have something called a rough sheet. So whether you are using an Excel or you're using, good evening, Julius. Good evening, guys. Yeah, good evening, Junior. So, oh, Junior, you're joining from Ghana. Welcome. So, whether you're using an Excel or you're using a Google Sheet, it's the same process, right? So, in case you're following me and you have your laptop, which I believe that a lot of people have their laptops. Yes, yes, you can do that. That's what I was just going to say. So if you're using Google Sheets, open your Google Sheets and follow me. If you already have the data open, let's make it practical, just so that it's better that you're following practically, as it were. So I tried to do a recap for some of you who were not here last week, but of course, we are already 17 minutes into our time. But I'm just going to do it roughly. So properly, to do a proper data analysis, you must have where you have your raw data. This is my supposed raw data here, and this is going to be like my dashboard, and this is going to be my rough sheets. I think I suggest I didn't type that well. So this is my rough my rough sheets, as it were. So my rough sheets is where I have, is like my import sheets. Do you understand? So because data analysis has a lot to do with formulas and all of that, and of course we'll get into that. So there's something they call cell referencing and there's something they call sheet referencing, right? So to build a proper dashboard, one of the things that is mostly required is sheet referencing, where you have to spool data from another sheet to another sheet, right? As we get along, you understand that. So the rough sheets is like where you have, the how do I say it? Is not it's like your backend, as it were, right? Where you're pulling your data from and taking it into your dashboard. So the raw sheets will basically be working with our sales data, right? To feed our dashboard. It's like our reference sheet. I think that's the language. It's like our reference sheet, as it were. So here on this sales data, what we are basically going to be considering today, as it were, right, is that we're going to be considering basic Excel functions. In our previous lesson last week, we looked at the basics, the fundamentals of Excel, where we eventually looked at how to open Excel and we explained what cells, what are cells, what are columns, and all of that. And then we also considered that all of this, all of this top row here, what we have everywhere around here is called our toolbar. And then we also gave example of a mechanic workshop, right? So because you cannot afford to be a mechanic and you don't have tools to work, do you get? So when we have data like this right now, what we need to fix the data is the toolbar. And this is where we have all the spanners. This is where we have all the all the all the spanners, all the, how do they call them? You know, all of the working tools that we need to work, right? So in Excel, here in the toolbar is containing all the things, all of the tools that we need to work. And we also explained how that, you know, I'm sorry. Okay. We also made attempts to explain how that, the home button basically contains everything for sorting out text and, everything that has to do with data. Do you understand? And we also looked at a lot of other things. Inserts, you can either, spool picture like data from your files using inserts. You can draw on the Excel sheets using, inserts, you know, layouts contains basically the background, right, of how you want your sheet to look like. For example, if I go to my dashboard, this is how a proper dashboard should look like. So if I click on view, right, I'll basically take out all the lines in Excel. Do you guys? So your dashboard page should not contain the rows and columns. Do you understand? Okay. Why do I feel like I'm rushing the class? Do you guys, are you guys understanding what I'm doing, what I'm saying? So do you understand me to this point? I'm just trying to, rush up so that I can catch up with what I have to teach today, right? So, okay. I'm just trying to rush up so that I can catch up what I have to teach today. So, for example, on the dashboard page, right, I have just removed, okay, which is yes, which is no. No, I'm in a rush. Okay, okay, okay. Thank you, Juliet. Okay, so for example, on my dashboard, for those who are using Google Sheets, you can do same. Go to View and click on go to View, and then you can see rows and columns. Click on it, and then you can take out the blank rows. If you are using Excel, go to Page Layout and go to where we have grid lines and click on View. Okay, go to Page Layout if you're using Excel, and go to where we have grid lines on your dashboard page and click on view to uncheck it. So it is checked. So uncheck it and take out the rows and the columns. Okay. Stanley, if you get me, you can put a thumbs up there. If you don't, just let me know. Okay, we'll go back to our data. So the first thing that we're going to do here, let's say that this kind of data was handed to us. And I believe that we already understood how to enter data in Excel because I took my time to look at that in our previous class. How to enter data in Excel. So because data is entered in rows and in columns. Do you understand? So I believe that because you understand how to handle data, how to impute data in Excel, you also know how we came about this data, right? Everybody knows how this data came about. So it was imputed the way we did it last week is how it was imputed. It's just that this one is much. Do you get? So yeah. So I decided to make it like this so that we can use it to build our portfolio. And this is a sales data really, and it's really, really, you know, is very, very recognized. So it contains everything that we need to run for the program. That is why I decided that we work with this. But however, is I just want to be sure that everybody understands what we did last week in terms of how we came about this data. So it was imputed the same way we did it last week is how we did it, is 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 how the data was imputed like this. So we have here rows and columns. So we're going to get started for today. So some of the things that we're going to be looking at today, we're going to be looking at the basic Excel functions. And before we do that, the first thing that we are going to do to get to that is that we freeze the column. So we're going to freeze the first row on our sheet, and we're going to freeze the first column on our sheet. Why? Volume of data here. Do you get? And because of, if you don't freeze the row or the column, you're not going to be able to navigate, on the sheets, or probably go down here. So if you go down here, you discover that the column, the first row that contains our header here. So I'm just going to color it just so that we have that demarcation, right? So I'll color it yellow. So if I go down, you see that yellow disappears. So for example, if I was going to work on this data now, as it were, and I am down, I won't exactly know where I am working from. Do you understand? I won't exactly know what I am working with. So every time I need to do some analysis, I probably would have to go back up to go and check, which row I'm working on. And that could be, what we're also trying to do is that we are trying to kill time. All of that can make you very inefficient, as it were. So what we are going to do first is that you're going to highlight. So we want to freeze the first column, the first row in our data. Remember we said that, our rows, remember we said that our rows are in horizontal format and our columns are in vertical format. So when you have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is their rows. So we have row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5, row 6. It just keeps going. So when I say a row, I mean that, I'm taking it from the number. But when I say a column, I'm going alphabetically. So when I go numerically, it becomes a row. When I go alphabetically, it becomes a column. So when I say row 1, it means that the first row here. So we talked about cell referencing. So if I click on here, this first cell here, we also looked at how that everywhere I click here is a cell, and then we use the Kuje, what that cell name, Kuje Abi, the Calabar South Prison, to that is where somebody can remind me anyways. So we use that to illustrate how that we have many cells here. So but everywhere I click on the sheet is a cell. So to freeze my row 1, I'm not going to be taking on one cell. I'm going to be taking on the whole row, right? And we also say that to click on to highlight the whole row, you're going to have to put your cursor here. You see that as soon as I put my cursor here, the cursor changed to an arrow. Kuje Prison, thank you. That's all right. So, as soon as I put my cursor here, you realize that the cursor changed to an arrow. It is no more a plus. And because I'm going to freeze the first row, I'm going to put my cursor in the second row, right? And you're going to go to where we have view. Right? How many people are there? Do you understand me up to this point? So I want to freeze the first row. And to do that, I'm going to highlight the second row, and then I'll come to view, and then I'll go to where we have freeze. If you're using Excel, you see where we have on it, you see freeze top row to freeze it. So you realize that now I can go freely. If I have to go to the bottom of this data, right, I can still be seeing my headers while I'm moving. Just so that while I am here working, right, I am not lost. If I need to know, okay, I'm working on region, I'm not okay, I'm working on region. If I'm working on product, I'm working on products here. Do you understand that? If I'm working on quantity, I'm working on quantity here. If I'm working on unit price, so I don't necessarily have to be going up and down again to check what column I am working on right now. Do you get? So I'm just trying to set the foundation for what we are going to do, because all of this is very, very important for analysis. So when I do that, because I'm presenting it that, let's say that you are given this set of data to work on, because I'll give an assignment and I'll give you a set of data to also work on as well. So the second thing I want to look at is that I want to check in this file that I have here, right? I'm just giving you guys the basics for how you're going to start your analysis. This file that I have here, the second thing that I want to check is that, are there duplicates in the file? And what I mean by duplicate is that duplicates not in cells, but duplicates in rows and in columns. Do you understand? So what Excel defines as duplicates in this instance is not that I have grace here, right? And then I probably have another grace here. That's not what Excel counts as duplicate. It could be duplicate for this column, but because it is not duplicated across the entire row, right? Excel recognizes a row as a duplicate, not a column as a duplicate. I don't know if I'm making sense, right? Just if I'm fast, you guys let me know in the comments. If you don't understand, let me know in the comment. I just want to make sure that everybody understands what I'm saying, so that it does not look like I'm sounding. If you don't understand it, I will say it over and over and over again so that you can get it. You're the reason why I'm on the call, right? If other person can wait. After all, Jesus left 99 sheep and went for one. Who am I? I'm the Son of God. So if you are lost, we'll go and find you. Everybody will wait, and we'll go to Kuje prison to go and rescue you first. And then when we come back, we continue the journey. Just in case federal government don't arrest you. So if you understand me to this point, give me a thumbs up, guys. Give me a thumbs up if you understand me to this point. So what I'm trying to say is that the first thing, if you're given a set of data like this, remember, I'm not just training you guys on Excel, people of God. I'm not just training you guys on Excel. I'm training you people for data analysis. So I'm just giving you, I'm trying as much as possible to give you the guidelines for how to do a proper analysis, right? So the first thing that I'm going to do, like I said, is to freeze my header, right? Row 1, which is like, which is my header. So you freeze the header, and then just so that you're able to, so that you don't get lost, when you get to it, because at the end of the day, you could be given a data that is even more than this, and you can't afford to be going up and down the file. It's time waste. So we have established that fact. For those who are jotting, that's the first point. You create, how do I call it? You freeze your top row first. And then the second thing I want to check here is that, are there duplicates? And like I said, Excel does not count duplicates as in a column. Excel counts duplicates as in a row. Do you understand? So because of that, I'm going to have to highlight the whole file. If I'm going to look for duplicate, how can I freeze the header? Are you using Excel? Good news for Cone. Is it Excel you're using or Google Sheets? Okay. So if you're using Excel or Google, just let me know and I will go back, answer my question. So again, because I want to check for duplicates, I'm going to have to highlight the whole file. How did I do that? If I take my cursor up here, right? So when you have 1 and you have A, you see an arrow here pointing down to the Excel file, right? If I put my cursor around that arrow and I click on it, it's going to automatically highlight. You aren't replying me, sir. Esther, what's your question? I'm sorry. On my Google Sheets. Uh, I can't open the file on my Google Sheets. So Esther, you download the file on Excel, copy it, so Control C. So and I'll show you. I'll show you. Sorry guys. Sorry guys. So Esther, look at me. Look at. This is my Google Sheets as it were. Um, okay, so for those of you using Google Sheets, just so that I carry you along, right? I don't want people to be left out. So this is my Google Sheets here. Okay. Okay, so for those of you using Google Sheets, this is how to move the file to Google Sheets, right? So I have this Google Sheets here. I'm going to go to Excel where I have the data and just follow me. I'm going to do exactly what I just did now. Put your cursor up here, right? There are two ways to do it. It's either I put my cursor up here and highlight the whole file, or I do Control A. So Control A is holding the control button on your laptop. There's a control button on your laptop. Hold it and press A. It's going to automatically highlight the portion where you have, good news. Highlight the second row. Okay, yeah. So it's going to highlight the portion where you have data. When you do that, right click on your mouse. When you right click on your mouse, you see copy. So copy it, right? Go to your Google Sheets, right click on your mouse and click on paste. Right? So when I do that, I've automatically pasted it on Google Sheets. That's how to move the data to Google Sheets. Esther, I hope I answered your question anyways. And also do the same thing, click on the plus sign and you can add your dashboard, and add your raw sheets like we established in Excel, and then you can follow me. So that's that. From next week, what error is it giving you? Screenshot the error and send it to the WhatsApp platform. When you click copy, that cannot be. Okay, just like I don't delay the class, right? Screenshot the error message and send to the platform. Send to the WhatsApp platform. I'll see it. So I was saying, okay, Ofian, please attend to her. So I was saying that, in the event that, so now we have succeeded in freezing our top row, right? For those who are taking notes, it's very critical. So the next thing I want to do is to highlight the whole file. And I said that you have to put your cursor up here to highlight and press Control A. For those who understand Control on your laptop, the control button is the button, the left hand side of your laptop, right? The last down at the left hand side of your laptop, that's the last button. The down left hand, you click on it and you click A. If you highlight it this way, right? The next thing I want to now do is to go back, click on data, right? If I click on data, I'll go to where I have duplicates. You see, if I hover my cursor around this place, you see that it's showing me delete duplicate rows from a sheet. You can pick which column should be rechecked for duplicate information. So if I click on duplicate now, and this box is going to come out, I'll click OK. So OK, so you see, it said no duplicate values found. So I'm fine. right? I'm fine with this sheet. I can continue working, right? So, like I was trying to explain, Excel will look, let's say that this whole row 2 is duplicated. So, this entire row 2 has to be duplicated for Excel to return that there is duplicate in this file. And I'm going to make an example. So, let's say that I insert one row. For some of you who don't know how to insert. So, if I want to insert, like we said last week, if I put my cursor on row 3 and I want to insert above it, I'll just click on. So if I come to home, look for where it is called insert. So everything that you want to use, right, is actually here on the toolbar. It's just for you to hover. It's just for you to hover around the toolbar and you find exactly what you're looking for. So if I put my cursor on this insert, you see insert cells. So if I click on it, you see that it automatically inserted one cell up and shifted the data. And if I'm going to do it again, I'm going to have as many cells as possible. Do you understand? But for the purpose of this lesson, right, I'm going to take it back. So, again, I know some of you are wondering how I took that data back to. So, if peradventure I did insert or whatever it was that I did, right, and I needed to return back, if I take my cursor up here, so everything you do on Excel can be undone. Do you understand? And there's no need to panic if you're working on data on Excel. Whatever you do can be undone. So, in case you're working on a file and you eventually have an issue, right, you can undo it. Is that you hold Ctrl Z or you take your cursor. If you look up here where I'm putting my cursor at, you see that there's an arrow pointing left. It's showing that I can take the data back to where I can go back to where I was, and then I can rework it again. Do you understand? So in Excel, if somebody die in Excel, the person can be resurrected. That's what I'm trying to say. But in real life, if you die, it's Otilo. You need a powerful man of God to bring you back to life. But in Excel, if data die, the data can be resurrected. Everybody has anointing in Excel. And it is this undo that helps us to go back to whatever. So if you're working on something and you have an error, no need to panic. You can go back. So if I click here, I can click it as many times as possible until I get back to base, to where I want it to be. Do you understand? So when it comes to Excel, all of us have anointing. When it comes to real life, you know, what it takes to raise the dead. So, and I'll tell you guys a story. I've gone to the mortuary before to go and raise the dead with my pastor that time in the village. And I know you don't want to hear the rest of the story. It's a crazy story, because from that day I started seeing things that. So, but in Excel now, it's a different ballgame entirely. Do you get? You can kill, you can unkill. So, in case you cook ewa or you do any form of mistake, right, you can undo it. And it is this function that helps us do. So, if you look here, you see do and redo. So, I can also redo what I have undone again. Do you get? So, okay. So, in Excel, you have the ability to do all of that, right? So, if I insert one column here, and let's say that I duplicate any of this data across my row. So I'll copy it, right? I should tell people to ease tension. I know you don't want to hear the rest of the story. You know the rest of the story now. You don't want somebody to where dead people are. So the rest of the story is history, and you know the history. So I mean, how's by the way? Again, if you have this set of data like this, right? So now I copied this data and I want to paste this in the next cell and I'll color it just so that you know that it is duplicate. We duplicated this particular two rows just to prove a point, right? In case there is eventually duplicate in the data that we were supposed to work with. So if I highlight this whole data again and I click on data, I go to duplicates. I click on duplicate and I click OK. Have you seen? Now it says 2 duplicate values found and removed. 500 unique values remain. Note that counts Note that counts mainly include empty cells, spaces, etc. Do you get it? So in case there's any form of duplicate in that file, Excel is going to help you take it out. All of this is just to ensure that your analysis is proper. Remember, I told you guys, data analytics is not Excel is not, because I differentiated between data analytics and data analysis in my previous, in the previous lecture that we had. Data analytics is the process of filtering, collecting data, filtering, analyzing and visualizing data. But data analysis is involves a lot of critical thinking. It involves attention to details and all of that. You need to be able to pay attention to the data, pay attention to, because all of these principles are what will make up, that are what makes up a good data analyst. That's why you're different from the normal Excel user in your office. I said that in our last session, right? You're different from the normal Excel user because you know these basics. These are the basics for proper data analysis, just to ensure that you don't have errors all the time in your data. So the first thing that we do was to freeze our top row. The second thing that we are doing now is to check for duplicates. And we just identified two duplicates in these sheets, and Excel have automatically taken them out. You're not going to have, it's not you're not going to take it out, because when you instructed Excel, remember here, when I put it said delete duplicate rows from a sheet. So Excel is already saying that if you click me, great, well done, Stanley. So Excel is saying that if you click me, I'll help you and delete it, right? But however, because we have deleted it and we can raise the dead, we can undo it again. We have risen the dead. That person that died, that data that died, we have taken it back, right? We can take it back. We can undo what we have done. Do you understand? So that's great. So I'll go back to how we were, right? Do you guys understand the whole duplicates concepts and all of that? Because it is very critical when you have this volume of data, right? It is very critical. And this is part of the assignment that I'm going to give. There's going to be a lot of duplicates and all of that. So you need to check and check and check and make sure that everything is in place. Right? Okay. 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 So the next thing that we're going to check, we'll get into the formula proper. Another thing that we want to check is that where we have our numbers, for example, right? We want to be. You don't understand the duplicate part, sir. Okay. I'm going to go back one more time and then I can move, right? I'll go back one more time. Thank you, Mr. Chibike. So good news, I'll go back one more time, pay attention. So I'm saying that if we have a file like this, right, it's most likely that there would be, because if you're working on, like, many organizations do manual labor, they don't do, the automated system. So it's most possible that somebody could have, you could have a duplicate row. It's possible, very possible. And I said that duplicates is not defined by cells. It's not also defined by columns. Duplicate is defined by rows. Do you get? So for Excel to capture something as a duplicate, it means that the entire row from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N contain the same thing. And I'll do that, for example. So I also said that okay, so I'll do an insert, right? And I'll use this first one to make an example. So if you look at this first row, our row 2 in our data sheet, you see that we have ID here, we have this order date, we have this customer name as Grace, gender as male, we have age 35, city Port Harcourt, region South, product laptop, category electronics, quantity 10, unit price 850, discount 0.05, sales rows, and then payment method cash. What I'm saying that for Excel to consider a duplicate, it means that in row 3, all of this information that is captured here has to be on row 3 for Excel to consider it as a duplicate. So for example, if I copy it and paste it on row 3, Some of you don't know how to do copy and paste. So if I put my cursor here, here, like this, right? And I press Ctrl C, or better still, if I put my cursor here, I'll right click. Every time you right click, so on your laptop, why am I feeling like some people don't know how to do right click? You know I'm a man of God, so when I sense the anointing, if you're that person, carry your hand up. Let me see. So that I know that is the spirit that is talking to me. Let me be sure of what is speaking to me now. You know, because I'm feeling like somebody does not know how to do copy and paste. But in case you are shy, receive grace. You know. So if Excel is to consider a duplicate, right? All of this is going to be the same. So because I now copied from here to here, right? Every time you want to copy, for example, I want to copy a whole row, I'll right click, I'll click on copy, and then I'll come and paste it. I'll also come here where I want to. If you notice something, I highlighted the whole row. I didn't highlight just a cell, right? And then paste again here. Do you understand? So I copy here, copy, highlight here, and paste. So you might not see paste if you do it. You see, there's no paste here. But you see this box, there are three boxes here. Here it says paste, here it says paste as value, and all of that. I'll show you guys the differences. There are a lot of differences here. I'll paste as value if what I'm copying has formulas. If it does not have formula, I'll do the normal pasting. But don't worry, when we get to that, you understand that one, right? So now I have duplicated row 2 into 3 and 4. So you see that this one is showing the same data: Grace, Male, Port Harcourt. It means that I now have this whole information appearing 3 times in my data, right? And if for Excel to consider it as a duplicate, it means that all of them are the same. So if I go back to duplicate, I click on data and I click duplicate and I click OK. You see, Excel says 6 duplicate values found and removed, 502 unique. If I do that, for example, bam, see, all that data has been taken out. That duplicate that we had, remember we inserted 3 more rows. Everything has been taken out by Excel. Do you get? But however, I'll tell you guys another thing. I have undone it. I killed somebody. I've undone it. I've gone back to where we were. So, however, if we still have something like this as duplicates, for example, remember this is 3 duplicates. If I change like this male now, I now change it to female, it means that this role, even though other columns are alike, I have Grace here, I have 35, I have Port Harcourt, even though they are alike, because just one cell is not alike, is no more considered a duplicate. Just because of that cell, right? So if I go again and highlight the 3 of them and I do duplicate, you see, Excel will say, see, 1 duplicate found and taken out. What is now remaining is remaining this male and this female. It took out the other one because just one cell is not aligning. I hope I made justice to that. Can I move now? Perfect. I can move, Abi. If you don't still understand me, oya, come out, come and kneel down. Let's use legs. It's like all these hand anointing no dey work again. Let's lay legs on you, or we use our head. We go just dey nod you for face so that you go understand. So, okay, thank you. So I'm going to undo. I'm sorry. I probably need to. The AC here is not up. Okay. I'm going to undo it. Back to where we came from. Right? Back to where we came from. I might not need to carry you along, but I have undone it. So I've taken out all the rows. Great. So now we have taken out duplicates. I need to run fast. We have, we're so Esther, I hope you do understand me. Sorry. Uh Sorry. Okay. Okay. So another thing that we want to check is that if you look at this data now, we class we said that there are about 6 classes of data that you can put in Excel, that you can input on an Excel, in an Excel, really. 6 classes. We have, we have numbers, we have alphabets, right? We have dates, we have time. There are about 6 of them, right? So, and if you look at these sheets, they literally contain everything. If we also have other dates here. So everything that should be on an Excel file is actually on this sheet. So the next thing I want to check is that I want to check the numbers. There are 2 things I want to check. Are there errors, right? Are there error values on the numbers? Or are there numbers that are blank that we don't know about? All of that can affect your data analysis. I would have used formula to do it, but I'll just show you guys, because part of what we are trying to achieve is that I want you guys to understand the basics and how to use the toolbar first of all to navigate around. Because for some of us, I can do this whole thing without even touching the toolbar, right? But for you, it is necessary that at least you understand that whatever formula you're going to run, even now and in the future, is actually in the toolbar. So formulas are just a way of making it easier for you, right? A sharp way. But regardless, almost everything that you want to do is on the toolbar. You get, avoiding repeats so that you don't come back and do it and do it and do it again. If you put a formula, you have killed that whole process and it just keeps running. If I highlight my first role, I will go to where we have sort. I'll show you guys sort. So on my home tab, there's a sort function here. Home tab, right? Sorry. Okay. Okay, so on my home tab, there's a sort function here. If I click on sort, for example, right, I have sorted this whole data, as it were. So if I come to where I have quantity, I'm going to click on, so because I clicked on sort, remember, you see that I clicked on sort, and then you see these columns coming out. One, look at them. Look at them. That's how you can sort your data. If I go back to that sort and click on it again, you see that it will disappear. It means that I can't sort this data, right? But one of the most critical functions is this sort function. So if I put that sort function again, you see that, these boxes have appeared. Excel is now saying that I can go ahead and sort. So if I click it, sort, it means that everything that is on this row, on this column, right, is going to now appear in a small box, and you can select what you want. Sort means that, okay, in this set of data now, I want to see only one. So in this column J now, I want to see only the data that is only, so this is quantity, for example, right? I want to know, okay, how many items did we buy? How many items did we buy only one? Or how many items did we buy only 6, right? And or maybe I want to check the unit price. How many items did we buy at 850 naira? So if I click on this source, I'll be able to know exactly what I'm looking for, because this data now is too much. I can't go, you cannot just go and be looking for, okay, for example, now you want to check how many electronics. On column I, we have electronics, we have furniture, we have stationery. I want to check how many electronics have we bought, in the past 2 months. You're not going to have to check how many the months here and then maybe check, okay, how many electronics and all of that. No. You're going to have to check, you click on the box, and then you can just see that, okay, there are electronics, furniture, and stationary. You see, he just arranged it like this. So if I click on, let's say I want to check for only electronics. If I click on electronics, see, only electronics appears. And if I want to know what's the total quantity of electronics that we bought, right? Remember, the quantity is here and the unit price is here, right? So maybe now I should be speaking to the data so that you have more understanding. So because we have electronics, we have the category here. We have already selected that, okay, we want to see only electronics. How many electronics did we buy, right? Since I have selected that, now I want to know what's the quantity of electronics that we bought in the past, maybe, according to the data that we have. How I am going to do that, first, I'm going to show you guys the formula, but of course, we need to know the basics. I'll put my cursor on top of it, where I have so you realize that as soon as I put my cursor on top of this column header here, it turned to an arrow sign. It's no more a plus. So if I put my cursor here and I highlight it, you realize that it highlighted the whole column down. And because it has highlighted it, there is going to count, it's going to give me all of the parameters. Where am I going to see that? If you look at the downside of your Excel here, and if you see it, for those of you who are seeing it, right? Check this downside. You will see where we have average, count, and sum. Even if you're not using laptop, if you can see what I'm saying, just give me a thumbs up so that I know that you're following, right? Great. So give me a thumbs up. So you have average, count, and sum down here. You can see it at the downside of your screen. If you're following, give me a thumbs up if you can see it, if you can see exactly what I'm saying, right? Count, average, and sum. Okay. Okay. Oh, my laptop is quite okay. I don't know. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So you see count, average, and sum here. So because I highlighted this, what Excel is showing me is that averagely in the past, according to the data that we have, averagely we have bought each item we have bought 5.8 items on the average according to the data that we have here, right? 5.8 for the period of data that we have. Let's say that this to June, right, is 5.8. So every time we buy, some of you who don't understand average is middle, is a middle ground. So we are saying that there are times where we have bought more than 8. There are other times where we have bought less than 8. But we are saying that in most of the cases, we have bought around 5.8 to 6. So averagely, around 5.8. But maybe some other times we have bought up to 12, we have bought up to 10. But we have also bought lesser than 6 and all of that. But on this is what we are trending at. You see, this kind of analysis now is what makes sense to management. So now that I know my average, another is what is the total quantity? So if we have bought average 6 electronics for the period of data that we have, Daniel is lost. Daniel, where are you lost? Is it another person lost? Who again is lost? If you are lost, tell me. Because me, I'm just riding. As I be like this now, and I Benz at the drive. I'm getting to where it's becoming interesting to me. It's not that a copy and paste that I was teaching. So me, I'm enjoying it now. So okay. So if you're lost, you let me know. So again, I'm saying that, and I'll unfilter it. Please pay attention to this filter. We have done 3 things now. The first is that we learned how to freeze and unfreeze. The second is that we learned how to remove duplicates. The third is that we are learning how to use filter. There are 3 things now. The last thing I'm going to do is that we are going to now use formulas to calculate this whole file. And then I'll give assignment and we'll close. I'll go back again. So I'm saying that now that we have checked duplicate and checked all of that, the next thing we are going to do is to apply filter. What the filter will help us to do is to check column by column, right? Where there are errors, where there are possible errors. All of this is before we do our analysis. We have not started the analysis proper. All of this is just to ensure that the data that we are working with is correct. So we have put, how do I call it? We have removed duplicates, and then we have also learned how to freeze the top row so that they can allow us to check what is under. Do you get? So what we are doing right now is to now use filter. Remember the word filter. Filter. For some of, if you know how to cook rice, you know what is filter. That filter that they use to turn rice, but it's not that one. The exact filter is different from that one, but that is filter. Do you get? So it's just something that helps you filter out the water from the rice. Do you get? Just so that, for some of us, I mean, if you are from the Yoruba land, I understand that Yoruba people don't used to filter their rice, so you might not understand what that is. But that's on a lighter note, anyways, right? But for those who parboil rice, when you parboil rice and finish and you filter it, what you are trying to do is that you are trying to take out the ngongo nango, all those ones when no exactly those ones that are capable of killing somebody. You want to remove that one, and then you want to have something fresh. So when you use filter in Excel, it means that you want to remove, anything that could. Okay, when you use filter in Excel, it means that you want to remove anything that could, cause that kind of, make your data not to be flexible. Do you get? You want to remove the shaft so that the data can be free to fly. Do you get? So what we are trying to do here is that, so when I put the filter button is on the home tab. We have home, we have insert, we have draw. So on the home tab is where you find the filter button. You go to look for where we have filter by the right hand side. If you click on filter, click the filter button. You see, I've automatically filtered, right, that top row. And because I click filter, you notice that there are boxes here in all of the columns. So there are boxes here in all of the columns, right? These boxes are filter. So what I want to do in this data as a data analyst now is that I want to start from the first column and check. Is there an error message here that I need to check? There is no error, right? I'll go back. I'll check the second one. Is there an error message? And I'll give you an example of an error message. Here now on this sheet, I can have something. This is a possible error message you can find in Excel. And I'll put it there so that hash, something like this. Or maybe it can even have a 0. So if I come to filter now, I've added 0 and hash. So let's say that this thing now that I added was at somewhere in the middle of this page and we cannot find it. And you're just looking up here, everywhere is looking clean, right? And you can't find it. So what filter helps you to do is that if you click on filter, you're going to see it spot on. You're not going to have to look for it. You're not going to have to check everywhere. Wherever it is hidden in the Excel sheet, let's say that it is even hidden, I'll copy it. I'll paste it in the middle, and we are going to get there. Is somewhere in, because your data is so large, you are working with hundreds of data, and you cannot be scrolling to be looking for, let's say as I'm scrolling like this now, I'm looking for error. It's not possible. I mean, if you're giving this kind of data now, it can take you 1 month to work on it. Doing that. So if I do this kind of thing now, if I put on filter, what filter helps me to do is that filter just gives me, the whole information at once, and I can check. So you see that because I click filter, the first thing that is coming here is those 2 error messages I just put there. So for example, this row now should be containing only alphabets. This is order ID. So what is 0 and hash, and this error sign and these are possible error signs that you'll be seeing in data, right? What is this kind of error sign now doing in an ID column? Because this is on an ID. So I will uncheck. You see where you have select all. Click on it and uncheck it, and then click 0, and then click on the error value, and I'll click OK. You see, we have gotten that, okay, there's an error value here. Don't forget, the data has not disappeared. I've only filtered, what filter is doing is that I've only filtered out only what has error value, right? What I want to do is to remove it. I will remove it. I will delete it completely. First of all, I need to leave it blank. What you need to do, I know somebody asked me that question before. If you find an error value, keep it blank. Why we are looking for error values is so that we can keep them blank. Why? Because number one is that by the time we start inserting formulas, when you have error values, the formula is not going to work accurately and it's going to give you wrong data. And in most cases, it will also return error if you have error value in your file. And you're going to have to be looking for where there are issues. Do you understand? So another reason why we are removing it to blank is that if you're given a set of data to work on, right, and you don't find anything, you're not going to add or remove. So you're not going to either add or remove. The first thing you want to do is that you want to remove the error values, identify them, and then go ahead with your presentation. It is in the process of presenting to management or whoever gave you the data that you are now able to, you're now going to spot to tell them clearly that, okay, this data set that you gave to me, there are about 500 rows, but I realized that there are about 2-3 rows there that weren't correct, and I captured them in my data. However, they are not part of this report. You see, when you give that kind of report now, you look like somebody that is intelligent, that you know what you're doing. Instead of maybe you see an error value and I say, oh, it's looking like, so let me just, instead of making it 0, let me just make it 6. You see, by just adding one value to that data, the whole data becomes error. It means that you are going to present something that is wrong. That is how dicey it is. So when we get to formula parts and we get to especially VLOOKUP, I'll be teaching you I'll be teaching you absolute formulas, right? Where you have to be calculating absolute numbers so that you don't have those kind of issues and all of that. So now we have filtered this role, we discovered errors, we have taken it, those places are now blank, right? Those places are now blank. If I click on it again, I'm going to select everything that is left. I click OK. My data is back again. I'm going to do that for column. What is error? This is my date. There's no error in my date. Everything here is clean. It's fine. I'm going to do that. See, everything here is fine, right? I'm going to do that for my gender. I have female and male. So let's say where I'm supposed to have female and male, maybe I now have is goat a gender. Maybe I now have goat gender. Maybe, whoever sends me the data, they don't go cookewa, and I have something. So I need to, so this is gender now. If I click on this filter now and I'm seeing female, I see male, and I see goats. Is goat a gender? Do you get? It already sends something to me that this cannot be it. The first thing I want to do is I'll remove it first because it's going to affect my formula. It's going to affect my analysis. Do you get? What I'm looking for in this analysis is either female or male. A goat cannot be a gender. So if you're seeing goats as a gender in your whatever, it means that first of all, that is wrong. And you're not just going to delete it, you're going to identify it somewhere so that when you're making your presentation, you can state your findings that, I also had this, and I remove it. We're supposed to have so, do you understand? It's very critical because the assignment I'm going to give you, we'll get to the stage where, for some of you who want to graduate and collect certificates, we'll do a presentation and you present data to me and you tell me what you did with the data. That's the only guarantee. But that's by the way, anyways. So I've taken out the goats. And if I do that, I'm going to filter it again and return it. All of this, I'm teaching you the basics. There is a better way to do this and very quick. But you have to, this is now the basic. You have to understand this one to be able to start applying formulas and all of that. So I'm going to do that for all of these rows and up to my quantity. This is one of the most critical area, the quantity and the unit price, because that's most likely what we have, all of this data, This is what everything is falling into. We want to, at least at the end of the day, we want to know what's the quantity and what is the unit price for, the average, the sum, the whatever we want to do is centered on this quantity and unit price. Do you guys understand this to this extent? Ah, do you guys understand to this extent? By the way, if you have not subscribed to this channel, we'll soon copy you and paste. Or we'll use you and do filter. So you better go and subscribe so that we can reach more people. We are looking for more reach, really. We want to reach as many people as possible, right? This one that you're enjoying now, we want other people to be able to see it. Do you get? Now that we have not gone far, we'll soon go far, right? And when we go very far, we'll start using both Excel and Google Space so that I can allow for some level of interactions and all of that, right? So that because I really want you guys to understand this stuff. And I'm actually considering extending these classes to 3 weeks, not 2 weeks again, because I see that there's a lot of gap. A lot of people reached out to me during the week, and I see that there's really a lot of gap, and I need to take it. This is not what I was supposed to teach today. I was supposed to get into formulas real good today, but because of the gap that I identified, and also that okay, there's also need for me to also do a little bit of brush up. But this is the basic. If you understand this one, you're already 30% into the game. I can tell you. The remaining is when we get to the formula. I know a lot of people are waiting for that part, but I'm going to take my time here just so that people are carried along, right? So again, okay, let's continue. That's by the way. So all of this is so that we can know the total quantity and the unit price at the end of the day, and of course the discounts as it were. So now that we have checked for duplicate values, we have also checked our quantity. We see that there's no duplicate value. We've also checked our unit price, and we see that there's no duplicate value and all. That is great. So having done all of this, it means that this data is actually now ready for data analysis. Do you get? When you're able to do all of this, there's more to it, but you see these three functions I've given you, they are major, right? By the time you get to this part, you're already into it. You're already into it. So every time you're given a set of data, three things that you must look at. You must look at duplicates and you must look at error values. Very important. Very important. And you should learn how to, freeze your columns, freeze your rows, just so that you can navigate around the file. Play around the file a little bit before you go around with your analysis, just so that you don't present wrong. Because the end goal for all of this data analysis stuff is so that you don't present something that is wrong. You can't afford to do that, right? That's what we are driving at. You cannot afford to present a wrong data set. So that is how we are doing all of these basics. So, having said all of that, we are going to look at 7 Excel functions, 7 basic Excel functions, Excel basic formulas, right? We're going to look at 7 basic formulas that makes for, good data analysis. Do you get? And these formulas are SUMIF. We have the sum, we have the average, we have the mean, we have the max. I think we have the counter, we have the counts, we have auto sum, and then the last is the relative. How do I call it? Relative and absolute references. Do you get? So, and I'm going to name them. I don't know if somebody is writing it down. So we are first going to consider the sum. Is our top row, right? To know, I'm taking it down. So I'm going down below here. I'm going to start from here. So basically, I'm going to color it. We're looking at age, right? we're looking at quantity, and then we are looking at price. So, what are the things that we want to look at? For example, we want to know our sum. I'm going to call all of this, right? Colors are good. You use it to demarcate, to know what you're doing. And I'm going to make it a table. We know how to make tables now. I taught you guys how to make tables the other day. So because I've already colored this, right, I'm going to make it a table. So just down below my data here, I want to do my analysis there. So here, I'll click on this table. Remember, the table is here. So, or I click the drop down, you see all borders. This one that has all borders, click on it, and you have made a table here, right? So what are the things I want to look at? There are all these 3 columns that I have highlighted. So we want to know the sum of age, right? The sum of age, the sum of quantity, and the sum of price, right? So another thing that you need to know is that because my age is here, my quantity is here, my price is here, it looks like it's far away, it's far apart. I want it to be together. And how am I going to do that? I'm going to copy it, I'm going to cut it and insert it. You need to pay attention to this. As you're working on this data now, it's a working data. Some of these things that I forget to teach you at the beginning, as you're working on the data, you'll be seeing it and you'll be learning. So now I have my age here. I want to have my quantity and my price close to the age so that I can know what I'm doing. You can leave it here, it's fine, right? But for the purpose of learning, I want to do it. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to click on column J. Remember, I put my cursor up here. That's how I taught you guys to highlight. If you still remember how to highlight, click on column J here, drag it to column K. I've highlighted column J and K. What I want to now do is I'll right click and click on cut, not copy. This time I want to cut it. Cutting because I want to remove it completely from this place. And because I want it to be after E, I'll come and highlight F. F is closest to E. The column that is closest to where you want to paste it to is where you are going to highlight. So you remember I highlighted here and cut it, and I see the kind of grammar I want to speak now, cutted. So because I highlighted here now, right, and we took it from column J and K, and we're going to take it to column E. The next column that is closest to E is F, right? So I'm going to put my cursor on column F, and I'm going to look for a function called insert. Where am I going to find insert? Again, we are going back to our toolbar to go and look for our tools, our working tools. Insert, I told you guys, everything you are looking for is on this toolbar. Everything you are looking for is on this toolbar. So if I go to this toolbar now, I want to hover around in case I don't know what it is, right? I want to know which one is insert and all of that until this is insert. It's called insert. What's the function? They say add cells, rows, columns, and all of that. So because I've highlighted my column F, I'm going to click on insert. You see that it automatically moved from where it was and came here. So I now have my age, quantity, and unit price together. Do you guys understand up to this point, people of God? If you understand it, please give me a thumbs up, so that I can move on. We are getting into real stuff now. We are getting into real stuff, and we are going to close strong. Okay. So now that we have gotten here, I told you guys there are about 7 functions that we want to look at, right? We want to look at sum. We want to look at average. We want to look at mean. We want to look at max. We want to look at A. Auto sum. And then the last is auto sum, really. Sorry about that. The last is absolute reference. We're going to treat these topics and we'll close for today. So this is all of this is that I'm trying to build a foundation that we are going to work upon. By the next class, I'll give you guys an expo. We're going to be looking at some of the advanced SUMIFs and advanced average if. I might not be as detailed. How do I call it? I might not have time to be explaining all of this, again in our next class, because all of this is that I'm trying to set a foundation, all of the insert and all of that, so that we can run. Great. So what do we want to know? We want to know the sum of age, quantity, and unit price for this data that we have. Do you get? We want to know, okay, thank you. So we want to know the sum of age. If I want to know the sum of age, we are going to put a formula to sum the age, the quantity, and the price. Remember, the first one I taught you guys is that is what exactly am I repeating, Benis? Tell me which parts. Is it in the sum? So I just started the sum now. So I just listed sum, average, and all of that. Okay, is it the insert part? You don't understand? The cut and insert. Okay, but again, so that we don't drag behind, the video is recorded. Do you understand? So you can go back and rewatch it. But I just want to make sure that even if you are rewatching it, you can understand it perfectly. That's why I'm repeating it again, right? So just so that, I'm sorry guys, for the benefit of those who don't understand this, I'm going to take it back one more time and I'm going to do it again, right? So I'm saying that I have my age here, I have quantity here, I have unit price here, and I want these cells to be close to this age so that I can do my analysis in one place. I don't want it to be scattered. So I don't want to finish for age and then come here and do for sum and then come here and do for unit price. I want everything to be in the same place so that I can just, for uniformism and all of that. Do you get? And it will help me to run my analysis fast. You're lost on sorting. You might need to watch this video again. I've left sorting since I'm in inserts. I'm on inserts now. So we've looked at 4 things now. We've looked at how to what are the 4 things? And be sure, let me ask it as a question. If you were really following, list the 4 things that we have looked at now. Just I want to see it on the comment section. Everybody, I want to know how many, what are the 4 things that I've listed 4 things now. 4 major things that we have looked at. I want to see the comments. I want to see it on the comment section. Give me the comment on the comment section. If you've been following. Yes. There are about 4 things that we've looked at now. Four things. I want to see it before I continue. Duplicate, sorting, filter, freeze, and formulas. Well done, Stanley. You've been really following. Junior, freeze, duplicate filters, freeze, duplicate filter, and cut, freezing row, column. Okay. So, okay. So basically, we've looked at freeze, we've looked at duplicates, we've looked at sorting, and then we are now in cut. How to cut and, we are now in inserts, on inserts, sorry. But part of what comes with the insert is how to cut. Of course, you have to cut to insert, right? So what we are trying to do is that, so for example, I taught you guys that we can insert cells here. So if I if I click on insert right now, right, I could insert columns. Do you get? So because of that, now that we have gotten here, for those who don't understand, you could go back and rewatch the video so that we can move. We have less than 30 minutes to round up, right? And I need to move faster now. But again, wherever I stop, we can continue in the next class, right? And I don't mind cutting and pasting, and we just started talking about the formulas. Free cell cut. Well done, guys. Well done. It means that you are following. Okay. However, you can rewatch the video, and in my next class, I'll still go back again and all of that. But again, what am I even in a hurry for? So let's shall understand this one, right? So somebody says they don't understand sorting, but I'm already in SAS. Please, did you select the whole data before clicking on the sorting, or just the top row should be selected to bring out the box? Yes, just the top row. Just highlight the top row and click on sort, right? And click on sort and click on filter. I'm sorry. Highlight the top row and click on filter, and then you'll be able to filter it. Do you get? Highlight the top row, click on filter, and it's going to filter. So, yeah. So here now, right? I'm going to, I told you guys before again. So here now that I want to cut this, this is why we need 3 class in a week. Aisha, share, I've told them. They say it's 2. They are busier than me now. So, but of course, I said I will extend the class to 3 weeks because I see that there's a lot of gap. Imagine this is not what I came to teach today, and I'm not even started what I want to teach today, right? We are just looking at only sort, filter, duplicate, and insert now, and But of course, like, today is Sunday, right? The next class is on Tuesday, really. But how I made this is so that I can be having before the next class, I can have at least a Google Meets meeting with you guys, where people can talk to me and all of that. So again, I can even tomorrow I can set up something for a 1 hour, and you can tell me your concerns and we can look at it again. Maybe you can share your screen. If you want to share your screen, prepare yourself and share your screen, and let me look at what you are doing and I can advise. Do you understand? That's the reason for that 1 hour catch up, just to be sure that people are understanding what I'm doing. It's not just comment, comment, comment. We're using YouTube because to avoid distractions. Do you get? And because Google is limited, so that it does not log us out and every 1 hour and all of that. So this one just keeps the teaching uniformed. That's why we are using. But however, I can give a 1 hour bucket even tomorrow. I'll put a poll on the group. We just come, carry your whatever it is that you don't understand, bring it. If you have to share your screen, we'll look at it together. So by the way, let me speak on insert again so that we can. I need to close this session very soon. I don't want to keep you guys too long, so that it does not become boring for you. So I don't know, is it boring? Am I boring? Okay. So insert, right? I'm saying that we want to perform all of these functions, and because we have age here, we want to see what is the sum of the age, average age, minimum. We want to see the max of this age. We want to see the count, how many data is here, right? We want to see the counter. We want to see the auto sum. Now, We want to also do that with our quantity and our unit price, because this is obviously why this whole data is here. Every other data here, guys, look at this. Every other thing here is a support data. We call it support data. It's not the main focus. The main focus is the number. For example, in this data now, what is most relevant here now is that we want to see the quantity and the unit price. Everything is an accomplished. Do you get? So everything is, they are just helping you. Every other information here is helping you to break down the data in, in ways that you can kind of understand it. Do you get? So all of that data here is called support data. The most relevant data here is the quantity and the unit price and the photo, right? And because these three are very important to me, I want to keep them together so that I can see what's going on. Do you get? I don't have to keep them far apart. I want to keep them together. And that's why I want to move them. I want to move this quantity and this unit price. Quantity is in column H and unit price is in column I. I want to move it to column F and G, and then shift what is currently in column F and G forward. And I want it to be close to E. And because I want it to be close to E, I'm going to have to cut it. I will highlight it. So if I put my cursor up here, I will highlight it like this. And then right click, right? And click on cut, cut, cut. Cut is here. This thing that is like scissors. Some of you that don't know what is scissors, that thing that they used to tear clothes. That if you go to where they used to sew clothes, tailors, tailor, scissor. If you don't know scissors, remember tailor. Tailor, scissors. That thing that they used to divide cloths is what is called scissors. And the sign is here. Excel makes it very, Excel tries to give you, an idea every time of what every function is. And that's what we are getting here. So if I click on cut, right, I will come to where I have my age. I will highlight the cell that is beside the age. And what is most closest to the age is F, which is the city. Now, I want to shift this city away from the E and put my quantity and price there. So what am I going to do? I'm going to highlight this column F. If I highlight it, I'm telling Excel that I want to shift this guy. I want wonder. So, I want shift and come up for here. So because I want to shift it, I'm going to highlight. If I highlight it like this now, Excel is ready. Excel is telling me, oh yeah, more shift. The next thing I want to do is that shift, that push is what is called insert in big language. Insert is that I want to shift you. I want to shift you, come out. You're disturbing me, right? So insert, I want to push you out. I want to shift this thing to the other side. So I'm going to look for insert. Look at where we have insert here, up here. And it's in our home tab. And then you find insert, you see delete, you see format, insert. If I click on it, insert, it's going to move the data automatically. Remember, if I put it back again, if I highlight it and I click copy, and I come here and I say insert, you see that I now have a duplicate. The data is still here looking at me, and I have a duplicate here because I copied and pasted. Copy is that leave the original one, and do you understand? But cut is that I move the whole thing. I want the original copy, right? And that's what we are doing here. So instead of insert, instead of copying, I will cut, right? And then I will paste. Now that I have pasted here, I am ready to do my analysis. This is 9:30. I need to be. So we're going to run through, because the assignment I want to give you guys is based on this matter. That's why I must do it, right? So here now, we want to look at the sum of the age. All these numbers you have here, what is the total sum? What's the total sum of the quantity of products that we have bought during this period? What is the unit price for each of the quantity? So I'm saying that unit price, for some of you who are not in sales, unit price means that if I have 10 items here, for example, I'm saying that each of the 10 items, if each of the 10 items cost 850 naira per item. If I have 9, I'm saying that each of the 9 items costs 120 naira per item. That's what I'm saying. That's what we mean by unit price. So I want to know what is the total sum of age, total sum of quantity, what is the total sum of unit price. How am I going to achieve that? In Excel, to start any formula in Excel, you must start with equals to. Excuse me. Are you guys following? Are you guys following? This Stanley go like fight well. The way you take enjoy this shifting. You go don beat people well for secondary school. So so are you guys with me? Are you guys understanding me? Please give me a thumbs up if you are really understanding what I'm doing. And if you have not subscribed, I'll soon shift you. And I heard I go use shift you. Subscribe, like the page. I have over how many people on the call, sef? And I'm seeing it's like it. I mean, it's helping it to go viral. Really, really. I want this lesson to go viral. I want YouTube to be able to promote it and all of that. So if you've not liked it, just like it. It does not cost anything. Like it. You're not paying for the cost now. Just click it. So I want to know the total sum, total quantity, and unit price. So I said in Excel, to start any formula, you must start with equals to. Equals to. Don't ever forget that. Every formula begins with equals to. That's the basic. So every time I put a formula, I put equals to. See, this Excel, all these sheets now, they are very normal, like every other thing. It's very normal. Everything is going on well with the Excel. Anything, I can type anything, everything is fine. But as soon as I do equals to in any of these cells, what I've automatically told Excel is that I want to do formula. I'm ready for formula now. Do you understand? Excel just registers that. As soon as Excel just sees equals to, it just registers in his head that this guy wants to do formula. Excel gets prepared. He wants to know the next function I want to. So every time you want to do, so for example, now if I click equals to now and I click on another cell, you see, things don't spoil. You know, if I click on equals to and I click somewhere else, things don't spoil. You see, it's now showing this. Look at what it's showing. Like, Oga, you already told me that you want to do formula now. Where are you going to? That's what he said. It's telling me. Look at, if I click outside now, look at that box now is now showing, that's the formula sign. That means I can't do another thing if I don't complete what I want to do there. So Excel is telling me, Oga, where they go? Come back here. Come and do formula. So as soon as I did that equals to, it means that I'm ready for formula. Equals to, what type of formula do I want to do? Now, the first on our list here is the sum. Sum, green, bling, So to get the sum of the age, I'm going to do equals to, and I will type the summary, equals to SUM, which is sum. You see that Excel has given me a list of plenty formulas that carry that kind of thing. SUMIF, some products, some whatever, some this sum, im sum, whatever sum, all the sums. But you know what you're looking for now is sum that you want to do. So now that I have typed sum, the next thing I want to do, every time you want to start a formula and then you do equals to, and you type the name of the formula, the next thing you want to do is to open brackets. Open brackets means every time you see brackets, let me open it, bracket open. You are telling Excel that this is the function, this is the end of your function. This is, okay, I have selected my function and I'm ready to move. Do you get? So that bracket means that, yes, we are following. Great. That bracket, it means that Excel, I've selected my function. I'm ready to move. So every formula must start with first an equal to, and then must end with a bracket open. A bracket open before there. So this is where we are now starting the formula, the calculation as it were. So every formula must come with an equals to and a bracket open to begin the formula. You cannot begin any formula without an equals to and a bracket open. Do you understand that? The first function tells Excel that get ready, we are moving, equals to. Now, you have selected the formula that you want to. You have selected the particular, now we want to sum. You have typed sum. Now that you have typed sum, the next thing that you want to do is that you want to put a bracket. That bracket now tells Excel that, oh yeah, let's fly. Do you get? Because if I remove the bracket now, for example, and I click somewhere else, you see, it's out. It's showing error here. So if I remove brackets, you see, if I don't put bracket and I click somewhere else, it has gone. It means I'm telling Excel that, okay, nothing, forget about it. But if that bracket is there and I click outside, you see that the formula is still following me to wherever I'm going to because there's a bracket, right? The bracket still means that, okay, I'm still interested, let's move. But if I remove the bracket and I click outside, even though I have typed sum, everything just disappears. Do you get? And I can't continue. The guarantee that I will continue this formula is that I'm going to put a bracket. Remember, equals to bracket, equals to, type the name of the formula, brackets, equals to, type the name of the formula, brackets, equals to, type the name of the formula, equals to, type the name of the formula, bracket, equals to. Do you understand that? Turn it to music if you can. I know there are musicians here. Type equals to, type the name of the formula, bracket, equals to, type the name of the formula, brackets. Do it like that. Sing it. You know that time when we're small, when they send you to go and buy paper, you now go and meet your friend on the road. After when I finish to gist, you can't forget what they send you. And as at the time, you have spent like 2 hours gisting. And now you have to go back to go and ask your father, Daddy, wait till you say make I buy. And now you are in the middle of, you have not bought it, and you cannot go back to your father to tell your father that that thing that you sent me, I've forgotten it, and it's over 2 hours now. 2 hours. And you come back and you say you have forgotten. Of course, you know that what is waiting for you this side. This side is Red Sea. The other side is the Egyptians. You have to now choose you this day. How you want to die or die. Whether you want to die by sword or whether you want to die by water. So you are the one that will now choose, because as at this time, there is no Moses to divide the Red Sea. So it's either you drown or the Egyptians will kill you. That's where we are now. So equals to sum brackets. Brackets. Now that I have put bracket, what the next do I want to do? I want to now select what I want to sum. I'm ready now. What do I want to sum? I want to sum the whole age. I will click from the first one here, and I will drag it up to the end. There's a better way to do it, but let's start from here. You see, I've dragged it up to the end. As I've dragged it up to the end, if you look here, there's something I've not showed you guys. If you look up here, you see, look at the formula. The formula has not disappeared though. Look at the formula here, up here. You notice that it has dragged from cell E1 to E501. That's where our data stopped. I've finished dragging. The next thing I want to do is to now close the bracket. As I close the bracket now, what I'm telling Excel is that I am done. Do you understand that? Open means that I want to start. But every time you see a bracket close, it means that I've finished. So the way that we communicate to Excel is that opening means that you open the bracket, it means that, okay, I'm starting. Do you get? If you close it, automatically, you are telling Excel that I am done. Do you understand that? Now that I am done, what next? I'm going to click enter with pride. You understand now? I'm going to click enter. If you check on your laptop now, you see enter button. Click it with pride, but don't break it because we'll use it tomorrow. We'll use it in the next class. Click it. What do we have here? we have total of 19,425 for age. You see, this 19,425 now is not clear, because if I look at it, you know what we are doing now is that, so that great. So when you look at this 19,425 now, you write someone that does not understand mathematics and understand figures, it will be difficult for him to pronounce because there is no comma in between the 19 and 425. So I want to go and put it. Eh? If you look at up here, you see we are going back to our hometown. We are going back to our mechanic workshop, right? We are going to look for that sign, that comma sign, because you are not, because you have formula here, you cannot put that comma. If you put that comma now, you have spoiled everything. So look at this tab now where we have general. It just tells, if I put my cursor here, I'm going to look for it. See here, you see comma style, it comes automatic. If I click on it, I will expand this thing. You see, it has put the comma sign. So somebody looking at it will quickly know that this is 19,425. Right? Now, I'm going to do the same for quantity. Sum quantity equals to sum bracket open. I'll go again. I will highlight it. Ah, I'm a musician, right? I can sing very well. So I click enter. What's the total quantity that we have bought for this period? We have bought 2,820. I'll go back to my home tab. I'll click on that thing just to have that demarcation. So total age 19,425, total quantity 2,820. Unit price, I'll do the same thing, equals to sum bracket open. We'll go again, drag it to the top. Click enter. It's not still clear. We'll click on this place. I'll click on it. So at the end of the day, I have total of the age I have 425. Total quantity is 2,420. We have bought 2,420 items. And how much did we each of them? At what unit price? We have bought 111,220. 20 naira, 820. You see how data analysis is. You see how we think. So I have bought 2,820 items at 111,220 for each of them. I just summed it. The next thing I'm going to look at is the average. We have 8 minutes to the end of this session. I'm sorry about that. We have to continue another day because we have to respect time, right? So we can do a crash tomorrow and complete. As a matter of fact, if it's possible, let's do it tomorrow. Let's do a crash tomorrow and complete the, because we're going to do a lot. Average and look at mean, and then we can call it. If you're with me, say amen. If you are a Muslim, how best to say it. However, just say it. Okay. Average. I told you guys, average is the middle ground for any. So if I'm looking at this age now, the next thing I want to know the average age range for this data that I have. What is the 43 years? Some people are 31 years, some people are 51 years. What is the average of the years here? I'll do the same thing again, equals to. So each of the formulas here is the same thing. Average, I'll type average. And the next thing I want to do is to open brackets. and then I will go again, highlight, go up to the end. Then I'll close it. When I close it, it means enter, right? So because I'm not going to continue doing for sum, for quantity and unit price every time. Now that I've done for age, which is the main reason why I moved the data to this place. As I have done for age like this now, if I put my cursor below this, so you see these boxes now, where my this thing is, if I put my cursor just below it, you see that that big plus change to a small plus. As soon as I see that small plus, I'll click it and I'll drag it to the right. It will automatically fill for quantity and unit price. I don't have to come and start calculating every time, calculate quantity, calculate unit price. So if I do that, I will just put the assignment for you guys will be that I'm going to resend this file to the group for those who are not following me. The assignment will be that you're going to complete for both county. You're going to complete for min, the auto sum and the absolute reference. We'll look at it in the next class because that one is difficult a little bit. They count only numbers, but county counts alphabets. Do you understand that? So count how many transactions are here, but county can also count when it is alphabets. But count cannot count alphabets. Count can only count numbers, and county can count alphabets. This is 9:56. And we have to close, guys. I have to keep to time, and we can do a 1 hour catch up tomorrow, depending on you guys, right? But I'm going to start it down. I'm going to take it down, and I'll return the white field here. So you guys are going to min, max, and count for each of these categories: age, quantity, and price. And when you are done doing that, copy it and paste it on your Google Drive. I'm going to go to all your Google Drives and create the space. In short, I'm not going to do that so that I don't spend. Go to your Google Drive, name it sales data. Okay. For those who are using Google Drive already, you can continue doing the formula there. So calculate for min, max, and count. And I'll see you all in your drives. I'll take my time to look at it tomorrow. And if you have any issue doing that, I mean, this is not the Nigeria. This is not Air Force exams. I'm not giving you so that you go and fail, right? I'm giving you so that you go and learn. So if you have issues, get back to me. Reach out to me. The video is recorded and will be online even as we are leaving this evening. So go back to it and watch it. Do you get? Go back to the video, watch it, and I think it's self-explanatory and all of that. I tried my best to do justice to it. So go back to the video, watch it, and but if you have issues, reach out to me. My DM is open. Reach out to me. I'll help you solve it. But don't come to me if you have not tried. Try first. Do you get? I know there are gurus here, so do it. Put it on your Google Drive. You don't need to send me an email. I'll check the Google Drives and I'll get the information that I want to get, and I will score you and give you a reply, just like I did with the previous assignment. So well done, guys. Well done. Can I get a thumbs up or something? Just to be sure that of today's class, really. So I'll send the file to your emails, and I'll also send out a bulk email. Thank you. Right? Aisha, you're making really sense. Aisha is saying something really interesting. I think we should consider 3 classes a week. It will really help us. I can tell you guys, it will go a long way to help you guys. There's a lot to learn, and I cannot rush. I'm trying so hard to rush, but I can't because I feel like I can't rush these classes. That's the truth, right? I prefer that you understand the one that I'm teaching than rush into it and then you are left behind and you don't even understand what I'm saying. So if it's possible, let's make the classes 3 times a week. That will help all of you, really. You know, very soon my attention will be divided. There's a lot that I'm going to do with some people. A lot of people just want me, I have, as much as I'm teaching you guys like this, as I'm finishing this session, I have another session for personal, tutoring, you know. So I'm literally almost, so for me to be even be, this is just me now trying to go out and just, create time for you guys. And also, as much as you can, let's deliberate and see what we can do. But just like I said, I've extended it to 2 weeks and to 3 weeks, not 2 weeks again. So we have more time to cover a lot of things. Well done, guys. Aisha, will have that discussion in the group. I'll open the group, or better still, I can set up a meeting tomorrow. Let's talk about this whole stuff. At least 30 minutes. Let's just deliberate and know what we need to do before we launch into the new week. We have a class on Tuesday. We can have a Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday class. I think that can help. Every 2 days intervals, so that this learning on Tuesday and then learning on Saturday, the interval is too big for a data whatever. It's like mathematics. Before you get there, you've already forgotten. I'm sure some people now, if I have to interview you, you're forgotten what we talked about sales and all of that. So it's fine. I'm even looking at Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. My Monday is quite very, very busy. That's why I'm not looking at Monday, Junior. But let's have that conversation. Let's have that conversation on the group. So thank you guys. Good evening and thank you. I wish you guys a successful journey and to have see you all when probably tomorrow or on Tuesday. I'll drop the assignments in the group, guys. I'll drop it there. Thank you, everyone. If you not subscribe before leaving this place, we'll send you. Okay. Good night, everyone.